Let's start with a story, Robert Kiyosaki's story. Imagine growing up with not one, but two father figures who each taught you radically different things about money. Robert's real dad, a well-educated school teacher, believed in climbing the traditional ladder, study hard, get good grades, land a stable job. That's the poor dad. Now, contrast that with his best friend's father, a savvy entrepreneur who built wealth by understanding cash flow and investments. This is the rich dad. Two men, two blueprints for life. Which one would you follow? Now, you might be thinking, how much can mindsets really matter? But let me tell you, the difference is huge. Poor dad's path earn, spend. Repeat locks you into the rat race. Rich dad's philosophy? Learn how money works and let it work for you. That's a seismic shift in thinking. What's fascinating is that neither approach is inherently bad. But the outcomes? Worlds apart. One mindset relies on earned income, while the other leverages assets for passive income. Let's dig into what that really means. Here's the conflict. Our education system teaches us to be good employees, not owners. Concepts like assets and liabilities terms you might hear in accounting are rarely mentioned in school, but they're at the heart of financial freedom. So, which dad are you learning from, whether you realize it or not? Before we go deeper, ask yourself, if you had to pick a mentor for your finances, would you choose security or opportunity? That's the foundation for the rest of our conversation today. Let's break down one of the book's most misunderstood concepts: assets and liabilities. Think of assets as money-making machines like rental properties or dividend stocks. Liabilities? They're like leaky buckets. Think mortgages, car loans, or anything that drains your bank account every month. Most people, just like poor dad, believe their house is their biggest asset. But here's the twist. Rich dad argued that if something takes money out of your pocket, it's a liability. Wait, my house isn't an asset? You might be wondering. Well, not unless it generates income for you, like a rental does. Here's the technical bit. Cash flow, the movement of money in and out. Assets produce positive cash flow. Liabilities create negative cash flow. Let me give you an analogy. If you're on a boat, assets are the wind in your sails. Liabilities are the holes in your hull. This is the crux of the conflict. Most of us spend our lives acquiring liabilities, calling them assets, and wondering why financial freedom feels so out of reach. But here's the resolution. Shift your focus to building assets, no matter how small at first. That's how you gradually tip the scale in your favor. Ask yourself, what fills your financial bucket, wind or water? Because identifying this difference is your first step toward escaping the rat race for good. So, how do you actually break out of the paycheck-to-paycheck grind? The answer is building multiple income streams. Rich Dad teaches us that the wealthy don't rely on one job. They diversify with investments like stocks, real estate, or small businesses. These are called recurring income streams, and they keep working even when you're not. Now, you might ask, but isn't investing risky? Absolutely, so is staying in a single job that could vanish tomorrow. Here's where financial literacy comes in, a term for knowing how to read financial statements and assess risk, skills sorely missing from most classrooms. Here's a story. Imagine you bought a vending machine and placed it in a busy office. Every snack sold is money in your pocket, an asset at work. Now, multiply that by 10 or 100. That's what Rich Dad means when he says, make money work for you. But here's the challenge. It takes discipline to reinvest profits and resist the urge to upgrade your lifestyle with every paycheck. Conflict arises when comfort fights progress. The solution? Automate your savings, invest consistently, and let time do the heavy lifting through compounding interest earned on interest. So, here's my question. Are you building a portfolio of assets or just collecting pay stubs? The choice determines whether you'll escape the rat race or keep running in circles. Let's bring it all together. Rich Dad versus Poor Dad is more than a comparison of two men, it's a clash of mindsets. One mindset security prizes stability and fears risk. The other opportunity seeks growth, leverages financial intelligence, and isn't afraid to fail forward. Here's the technical term, risk tolerance. It's your comfort with uncertainty, and it shapes every financial decision you make. If you're always playing defense, you'll never score big. But aggressive risk without knowledge? That's a recipe for disaster. Now you might be telling yourself, I'm too old to change, or I don't have enough money to invest. But let me tell you a story. A friend of mine started with just $100 in index funds. Fast forward 5 years, and those small, consistent steps snowballed into real financial security. The conflict is internal. Comfort zone versus growth zone. Are you following advice that keeps you stuck? Or are you open to adopting new habits, embracing financial education, and making your money work for you? In the end, it's not about being born rich or lucky. It's about making a conscious choice. So, seriously, which dad are you learning from? The answer could change your financial future.